Hi, everyone. In this episode, I spoke with Adam Cloutier, Vice President of Academics at Glen Oaks College, located just outside Colon in Centreville, Michigan. I spoke with Adam quite in depth about the cost of education today and how Glen Oaks actually offers a fairly low-cost, high-value education. We spoke about the opportunities of CTE program and the 3+1 programs that various community colleges now offer, which I think are a fantastic option. About the 13th year option, I really liked Adam's outlook on helping a student not just come to Glen Oaks, but come to Glen Oaks and either transfer out to another community college or transfer to a four-year college, or maybe just take some life-enhancing classes. So I was very impressed by both Adam and the facility. It's a little bit longer than the other ones. I was trying to edit it, and I just didn't know what to cut out and what to leave in. And I just think there's a lot of interesting topics that Adam hit on. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy.
So at Glen Oaks, we're trying to do that. We're trying to customize the student learning path so that way they can actually get into the class that's right for them, get it done with, so that way they can move on with their life.
Welcome to 5-Star Talks. I'm your host, Carl Thornton. This podcast is dedicated to enhancing the already great little village of Colon, Michigan. I hope you enjoy. All right. I'm sitting here with Adam Cloutier. Got that right. From Glen Oaks. Thank you for doing this, Adam. I truly appreciate it.
Sure thing, Carl.
I know we've been phone tag and email tag and for months, actually. But we're finally here. So I don't ever have anything scripted, but I just kind of want to get maybe some of your background, what you do here at Glen Oaks, and then we'll just go from there.
Sure. My name is Adam Cloutier. I'm the Vice President of Academics at Glen Oaks. I've been here for a little over a year. Before here, I was down in Ohio. I was at a community college in Ohio. I was the Dean for Arts and Sciences for about 4 years down there. And before that, I was in Dearborn, Michigan, where I came up through the ranks, started as a full-time math faculty member, and transitioned into administration after 7 years. So my academic background is in mathematics. Okay. I was a community college student up in Saginaw at Delta College. Went from there to Michigan State, got my bachelor's and master's in mathematics, and lo and behold, I was hired in at Henry Ford College as a very young full-time math faculty member. So a few years in, I went to get my doctorate, got my doctorate in educational leadership, and rest is history.
Where'd you get that the doctorate?
Oh, Ferris State University.
Oh, you're a Bulldog.
Yeah, I am a Bulldog.
Okay.
Yep. So I'm a.
You've been everywhere.
So
MSU.
I'm a pioneer from Delta College. Yep, a Spartan twice. So
right.
that's what I wear most proudly because it's twice, and then a Bulldog as well. Yep.
So what I'm interested in is I've probably had way more kids that have worked for me than I even know that have come here. I know in the last few years I've had 2 or 3 came here as communities and went on to become RNs.
Right.
And it's just, in my opinion, a great, affordable option for the kids in Colon and obviously Centreville, Sturgis, Bronson, wherever.
Absolutely.
So just kind of interested in the programs you're offering now. I know a friend of mine's daughter was going to do the 13th year. I think she transitioned into I think she might have had the associates almost by the time she got out of high school. So just interesting what you guys offer here. So maybe you can.
The sky's the limit there. I'm going to hit on the very first thing that you said. High quality, very affordable education, right? For those students that are currently in high school that want that opportunity to go to college free of charge, there's no other best option for them, honestly. So we're very blessed right now to have fantastic partners at Colon High School, at Bronson High School, at Centreville, White Pigeon, and beyond, right? So not only just in St. Joseph County, but beyond the county as well. When I say our students, I mean that purposefully, right? Glen Oaks and our high school students can come and take classes for free while they're in high school if they so choose to. Now, some high schools have the option of AP. Of course, all students have the option of CT as well, and these are all great opportunities for them. I just, seriously, I just want students to take advantage of these options or of an option, whether or not they're wrenching, in an automotive CT class, which is, by the way, just down the hall, or they can take, an English class right there at Colon High School or at another high school. They could take a class online. They could drive into campus or ride the bus into campus if that's available for them, but just incredible opportunities for our students
Yeah.
to get a high quality, very affordable education, right? Stuff that we didn't have when we were
Right.
younger
Right.
as a student, right? So we do offer a variety of programs. Glen Oaks is a comprehensive community college that can't obviously offer all things to all people, but we've got our niche programs as well as this general ed and transfer. But here's a pretty fun stat. But this past winter semester, we had 60% of our students were dual enrollment students,
Wow.
meaning they're in high school at Colon or Centreville or wherever that might be, taking classes in either there or online with Glen Oaks at the same time as trying to figure out, what do I want to be when I grow up, and can I, stay on that track to get that high school diploma, and so on and so forth.
Right. No, our son went to USC. It worked out well for him, but you can't call that affordable.
Right.
That was
That's right.
ridiculous. 5-Star Talks is sponsored by 5-Star Pizza in Lower, Southwest Michigan, and LaGrange, Indiana, and also by Graminetti Cheesecakes. Stop in and get yours today. And I don't want these kids to come out with $100K debt if they don't
Right.
have to.
Right.
And this, we didn't have Khan Academy, which I think will be accredited someday, I hope.
It might be Google, Amazon, absolutely.
Right.
It's been going in that direction, and also with the invention of AI and just the
Right.
advancements of AI, I think we're going to see some stuff popping
Yeah.
up here and there. Now,
Yeah.
the thing that you mentioned though with was it Saylor University?
Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm not entirely familiar with them, but there are a couple of colleges that have partnered with them. The big thing is that if a student is going to go out and get an education, my advice is always pick an entity that is fully accredited. And so I think, don't quote me on this, but maybe Purdue Global and a couple of others partner with Saylor University. I just haven't done my due diligence to look in depth just to see what the options are. But I'll be honest in saying there are a variety of different entities out there, all third party or kind of educational corporations that do very well with helping colleges provide an education for students. Right? Because as a comprehensive community college, we can't be fully comprehensive. I can't offer a class in, so in higher education, we like to use this analogy of basket weaving underwater, or underwater basket weaving.
Sure.
I can't offer a class in underwater basket weaving, but maybe institution XYZ out there is, and we've got a variety of students here that want to go into that area.
Right.
I might not start it up here, but I could partner with that other institution to say, hey, as an agreement, a pathway, we can get you on that pathway to actually achieving that as you're taking some classes at Glen Oaks.
When I saw Khan Academy probably 12, 15 years ago, I was like, this is the way education could go. I took a accounting class, and at that time I'd been in business for 30 years, and I was like, this is harder than hell.
Oh,
what
really?
the hell? I was like, and I couldn't wrap my brain around that a debit could actually be a positive. The ALLO, the debit and credit. And I go to my accountants, are like, we can't help you. That was 30 years ago in college. But I found this lady online from Florida State University, I believe, and all these little 10-minute videos. And I emailed her. She gave me her whole managerial accounting, business accounting. She sent it to me for free.
Right.
And I was like, you are the only English-speaking teacher we need in the entire planet.
Sometimes when you find one instructor that you absolutely love to, that's one thing. So I spent 7+ years in the classroom, right? And I love teaching. Secret inside story, I will be teaching actually one course this semester.
Math?
Yes, a math
What
course this
level?
semester. College Algebra 151 at Bronson High School. It'll be a hybrid class. Yes, it's a requirement right now through our accreditation, but we could talk more on that later. But I'm excited to get back. Absolutely love being in the classroom, and sometimes you find that teacher that you absolutely love. Mm-hmm. You cling to them, right?
Yeah.
So they might make the best videos. They might have the most interactive classrooms.
Yeah.
That makes a difference.
Like LCC, where I grew up, back then they didn't. Now they offer a 3+1. Are you familiar with it?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Do you guys have?
We're working on them, absolutely. So when I first got here, we had probably about 3 articulation agreements. I think in the last year we've been able to triple that, and what I'm hoping for this coming year is to maybe even triple that number that we've got total. 3+1 agreements are fantastic, right? So students can come in and they can take 3 years right here, get almost to that baccalaureate level, and then transfer out. with very minimal debt, based on the community college. I'll give you a great example, right? So we're working with a college right now, and I'll leave their name out of it purposefully, but we've got students who are in this program, and they're able to take classes in this program at a very reduced rate, and also with a little bit of very, very strong support, state support. They're able to get most of their education, if not all of it, completely free. Well, the students have the option of taking a class, and they could take this specific class with Glen Oaks. They could take it with another college. They could take it at that university. The difference in cost between Glen Oaks and that university, I think ours is maybe about $400, give or take, with all included, maybe $450, throw in the textbook and fees and stuff. The university, I think, was about $1,300, and the students, if they would go through Glen Oaks with some of the allowances that they're going to get through this special opportunity, they could get it for free of charge.
Under the opportunity that I think Colin has, I was looking to see, is there some kind of a marketing internship or business internship or even a historical type of internship with the Magic or all of the above that can be developed? Maybe that's a lot of work. I don't know if you have insight on that. Or
I do, and I want to get back and talk a little bit more about our programs as well. But the three of us actually were chatting back in the fall about that exact same opportunity. So I had to lay some groundwork first. But we've had, in the past, we've had some internship opportunities, co-ops, and some apprenticeships that have been very successful. I have really 3 goals for this college. 3 goals, that's it. Number 1, we're here to provide educational training for students and when I say students, it could be anybody, right? It could be younger students, older students, students who are currently employed. Educational training for students to come in and learn a skill, to learn a class or two, to learn just a couple of things, or to learn a lot of things if they want, right? So some educational training. Number 2, a student could come in and obviously get a degree or certificate. Fine, fantastic. The third thing that I want them to be able to do is to be able to come in and transfer. I don't care if they finish. I want them to have a seamless pathway out to some transfer institution. And that being said, and kind of going back to your question, as part of both the training and as part of the degree, it's not good enough for me to be able to say that a student can come to Glen Oaks and get a great education. It's not good enough. It's only better, or it's only maybe palatable, if we can say that a student can come to Glen Oaks and get a great education and they get a job.
Right.
And they get that transfer. So that being said, going back to your internship conversation and topic, this coming year is what I absolutely want to build out is really that full package for every single program for a student to come in and get an internship. We've not had that defined at Glen Oaks. Most colleges, most universities don't even have that defined. They might have a couple here and there, and you and I, the three of us rather, when we were talking, we were thinking marketing, business, that would make sense. And our business department has had a pretty good history of having internships. Our ag tech department as well, and so have our allied health and nursing departments have been really good with internships in clinical experiences. But beyond those, I think there's a big opportunity for us to grow that. So I had to lay some groundwork. I've got a couple of deans that are fantastic, that are excited to basically develop these relationships. But it's really that. It's a relationship, right? So it's a relationship between the college with you or the business owner. To scope out and say, here's what we want to create, and then we collaboratively work together to try to market this and pitch this to students, because students have, they've got to find an interest.
Sure.
But hopefully we then get that pool of students where, quite frankly, we start feeding them to you. You can interview them to say, I like this student, I want to hire that student. And internships can be paid or unpaid. I encourage paid, because then it dangles a carrot for the student to be able to say, that sounds nice.
Right.
I can get credits. And I can get paid for this opportunity.
Right.
So yes, that's my goal for this year, is to really beef up the work-based learning opportunities for our students. And of course transfer as well, because I want those 2 big ones to be prominent for Glen Oaks. I want students to be able to come here to meet their goals, whether it's training, to get a job, or to transfer.
Yeah, that's what I want to hear from as opposed to we just want to bring everybody here and pay my credit hours.
Yeah,
you need a path forward.
Yeah, so the nation has been transitioning pretty good within the community college realm, right? So if you go back 20, 30 years, the whole impetus was access to college, access to education. That's fine and dandy, but we owe it to our communities to be able to say we're here for more than just to educate the community. We're here to help the community reach their goals, right? So our mission is transforming lives. That's what I want to do, and it's not just through education, it's through education in that next step. It's the end game, right? So you mentioned, 13th year? I think
Yes.
you said. So we've got a fantastic early middle college program. It's not unique to Glen Oaks, right? So it's a program or an opportunity that's more of a national thing. But what makes us unique is really just the internal support that we give to our students. So the early middle college is a program where a student can extend their high school year one additional year to earn both a high school diploma and a college degree at the exact same time. It's all free of charge.
Do you have other programs you want to touch on, or you pretty much
Oh,
hit those?
Yeah, so EMC is a specialty program, and I was mentioning the 3 programs, right? So we've got the CT opportunity for our high school students. They can do dual enrollment, traditional dual enrollment, where they're pretty much in the high school every single day, and then they can take college classes, whatever college classes that they want during their high school career. So if they're over at Colin, as a great example, I wrote this down earlier, thought you'd appreciate this. We offer 3 classes right now at Colin High School: Com 110, communications class; English 121, which is English composition 1; and Psych 101, which is the introductory psychology course. And I've got 3 full-time faculty members that I'm sending out there to teach for us. So I appreciate Colin and the partnership we have with Colin High School. But we've offered a lot of classes out there in the past, ranging from art to bio to com to English, all the way down to math, psych, and soc. But it's a fantastic opportunity for the students. So if they're not interested in CTE, if they're interested in their basics, right, or their gen eds or their introductory college classes because they want to go into Michigan State or wherever they want to go, they can definitely start at Glen Oaks through their high school. They can come here. If they want, they could also do the EMC program that I was mentioning as well. So there's those 3 big buckets for our high school students. Go ahead, you were going to say something.
I've known about you for years, and I've had a lot of employees have come here. I think there's way more opportunity here than I think. Let me plant a couple seeds. We ended up buying the hardware building in town. I'd rather have a hardware store there, but they were going out, and I just saw an opportunity. A magician came in and built an incredible theater. I would call it it's not a black box, but if you're familiar with the old black boxes are, but it's really nice. It's underutilized. He left, went to Branson. Sadly, he left. He was a great addition to our town. But that being said, there's 2 nice theaters in our town. 90 seats, 80 seats, 90, underutilized. I'm part of a group that bought the Lambdet building, which, if you're familiar with that giant building in town, 50,000 square foot, and we're still fighting through all the rigmarole. Could we have, you mentioned HVAC could we, and I'm a huge Hillsdale College fan. Is there something, this is just a big picture, that we could do, that we could have an off-site, a campus, and it doesn't have to be just but I'm thinking, because of Colin with the magic, I'm thinking it could be industrial arts and art, which is kind of a weird combination, but
makes sense.
The facility's there, 50,000 square foot. Maybe you only use 5,000 square foot of it.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's.
I like the seed. Let me also tell you this, right? Education should not be confined between or within 4 walls.
I agree.
Right, and I've been out to talk to a couple of employers as well, and heck, I was just down to Sturgis talking to Burrow Tool last week with one of my deans. We basically said that we want to provide the educational opportunity for your employees and others, and it doesn't have to be at Glen Oaks. Quite frankly, we don't have the equipment to do all that stuff too, right? So Burrow Tool's got some fantastic equipment where, quite frankly, it's way too costly for us to afford. I mean, we're talking $250,000 types of machinery.
Right.
We can't afford that, right? The taxpayers and the government we just can't do that, right? So working with other entities to offer education at different locations is critical. It's critical for us now, but more so in the future. So the more we can do this, I think the better, which is why Glen Oaks is so I guess the education, what we're delivering is so important, that we're out at Colin High School, we're out at Bronson High School, we're out at Sturgis High School, because we don't want, we want the students here. Don't let me be too, high and mighty here in my speech, but we need to be able to take the education to the communities and where they are, right? And so if it's out at Colin, we just got to figure out what makes sense. One of the unique things, and this isn't a great example of the room, but we've got a couple of rooms on campus, and we've worked with our local district, right, to also buy technology that would allow us to simulcast. I used to call it IVDL, Interactive Video Distance Learning. It's not new technology. It's newer here, but give us the opportunity to teach a class anywhere and stream it live anywhere. Right? So quite frankly, I could teach a math class here, and it could be streamed to Colon, Bronson,
Right.
Mendon, and so on and so forth. And actually, I'm going to test it this semester. This will be the first test of
You are
this
gonna
new
do that.
technology. So yeah, so I'm working side by side with my colleagues over at Bronson High School. I'm going to go out there for the first couple of weeks and teach it face to face. It is a hybrid class, so I've got to develop some stuff online as well. But I'm going to go out there for the first 2 Wednesdays, teach the students face to face. They got to know me, right?
Yep.
I got to
Sure.
build a rapport. And then after that, I'll probably trade on and off. I'll do 1 day teaching from here using the technology. They've got their own unit, same unit as we've sent up to Centreville, Sturgis, and so on and so forth. But I'll be in the classroom here teaching it. The week after that, I'll go back over there.
In simulcast.
Yep.
So we homeschooled our boy the first 2 years, and I loved it. If I could go back in time, I would have done it more. And we're actually, my daughter is going to homeschool her 5th grader this year, my granddaughter.
Excellent.
And it's fun. I took her on a field trip yesterday, but I wonder, is there anything that you offer for homeschooling 16-year-olds or 14-year-olds, or is there an age?
Yeah, I don't know the exact process that they got to go through in order to be a part of that process. But
Okay.
Absolutely, we've had a couple of homeschool students while they're taking their classes at home, right?
Yep.
Or even after they get their GED. We've got some pretty unique things going on right now at Glen Oaks, where in the past it was all about can you test into a specific level, right? So we had these very stringent, difficult placement tests. What we're seeing now is that, quite frankly, if a student comes in with enough grit, enough self-determination, they can pretty much pinpoint the class that they should be in and be very successful in that class. So before I got here, like I mentioned, I was in Ohio, right? And transition to Ohio happened a little bit before the transition to Michigan. And we were seeing the same thing down there. Students were coming in, and they would take the placement test, they'd place into the very lowest level math class. It's a high stakes test. They didn't prepare. They didn't even know about it in most cases, right? But they take the test and they're like, man, I'm in basic math. I took, college, or I took pre-calculus in high school. How is this possible? Well, it's possible because they didn't study. They didn't know about the test.
Sure.
It was a bad day. It could have been anything, right? But the moment you sit down with a student, you ask them, "What's your background?" And how are you with math? Most of the time you hear I'm horrible with math, but you start having these conversations. Can you factor trinomials? The leading coefficient is not equal to 1. You got that?
Oh, wow! Said that so fast.
You start to get a little bit of that personality from them, and that personal knowledge that they've acquired, and you can kind of say, hey, based on what you're describing to me, I'm feeling like you might not need to be in basic math.
Yeah.
Maybe you need to be in this other class.
Okay.
That would be better for you. So at Glen Oaks, we're trying to do that. We're trying to customize these student learning paths so that way they can actually get into the class that's right for them, get it done with, so that way they can move on with their life.
I mean, that's good to hear. Do you have a Spanish degree here, or
We do
what's
not.
what
We've got
I'm
a couple
looking
of
for?
classes. We've got, I think, 4 levels of Spanish classes. We also have a Spanish for healthcare workers as well, to try to be specific, because obviously it's a very big demand in the health career that you've got people that can understand the language of our community.
It's huge.
You typically don't see a foreign language major or even a degree until you get to a 4-year level rather.
Yeah. You know what's funny? I remember I called when I think I told you I was in my 30s or 40s. I feel like I took some classes about 32, and I called MSU because online was just coming on. And hey, do you guys offer? And they just poo-pooed it. But it was a different world back then, right?
It was, yeah.
Now it's come full circle. I'm a big online guy, but that personal attention is huge. But I'd like to see it go where you got the greatest person in the world, maybe speaking whatever language, and then you've got qualified tutors, maybe.
Right.
Or
right.
I don't know what your
TAs
helping
out. The space you're in right now, this is our learning commons. We offer free tutoring right here for all our students.
Yeah, for free tutoring.
Free tutoring, yep. We've got some online tutoring as well, but the students can come in pretty much any time during the week and ask, can I get tutoring in subject X, Y, or Z? We've got math and English tutors pretty much on hand. We've got some fantastic ones in philosophy and humanities, some of the disciplines you probably wouldn't even notice, right, or even think about. But I've got a learning commons team that's fantastic. And if a student comes in and says, I need help with subject basket weaving underwater, they'll find somebody to help them out. We got a lot of major things coming up at the college. I'm excited. I'm excited for things coming up, right? So we got some big initiatives. So here's a few just to throw out there. Number one, maybe the saddest thing, or some people might say it's the happiest thing, but Dr. DeVere, our president, he's been here for 9-ish years, and he's declared his retiring. So he's going to retire June 30th of 2024. So less than a year away. So it's always challenging for an institution to have a long-standing president that's done so many really good things to then transition out. And he deserves retirement. He's been fantastic, and I've only worked with him for a year, right? So we've got to go through, obviously, and do a big national search to find the next best president. So that's number one. Number two, we're going through a compensation study right now because, as we've learned over the last couple of years, not just at Glen Oaks, but nationally, with the rising of inflation, gas prices being high, food being high, we want to make sure that we're doing our due diligence to making sure that we're paying our employees appropriately as well, right? Within, obviously, the confines that we can that would make sense for what we do. Another big one, we've got our accreditation, our big reaffirmation visit next year, and it's a 10-year deal, right, for college to be accredited. So we're ramping up this year to get prepped and prepared for that big visit. So we'll have about 5 reviewers that'll come on campus October, November next year, and it'll be fun, but it'll be stressful.
Sure.
So those are 3 major things, but we've got a lot of other things going on too. So we're hoping to renovate south side of the campus. We're exploring solar right now. We're looking at possibly building a building that would house maybe the ag tech program and maybe some other programs as well. So, there's a lot going on. It's exciting.
Did you just put in dorms a few years ago?
The dorms have been here maybe about 7 or 8 years now. Every single semester we've got a waiting list.
Okay.
This year we had a waiting list of at least 8 weeks ago.
All right, and was there anything else you want to hit?
Let me share a few more things, right?
Yeah.
So we got a couple of tried and true programs here that are pretty fantastic. We got a couple of specialty ones as well that's really unique. So obviously our nursing and allied health programs are fantastic. Our nursing students, I got to brag on them a little bit. We had a 100% pass rate on our NCLEX, on the NCLEX exam this past summer. So our students on their very first try, 100% pass rate. That's phenomenal. I'm just so proud of the students and my nursing team. Our allied health program is climbing and growing in leaps and bounds right now. We've got over 22 students right now. We've got an ag tech program that's fantastic. This is one program that, quite frankly, is a very niche program, right? The next closest one, I think, is way down in Ohio. So students can come in, they can wrench on farm equipment that, quite frankly, costs $500,000 to $1 million. And it's only, that program really, in my opinion, is only through a unique partnership with Burnups Equipment out in Three Rivers. So we've got classes right out there. It's another great example where you can't have every program at Glen Oaks. So through a partnership with them, we're out there delivering curriculum and helping them and farmers work on farm equipment. We're looking at this year trying to purchase a center pivot for our Hagen farm. So we've got a Hagen farm over here, a 130-acre farm, I believe, and the students help manage, operate that farm fully. They even got me on a combine this past.
What is Hagen? What do you mean by Hagen?
So the Hagen farm was a farm that was basically owned by Nora Hagen and the Hagen family.
Okay.
So Nora Hagen is a former school teacher in the area, and she wanted to kind of have her legacy go down in history, right? So she owned a farm right behind us with a whole bunch of land. And back in 1963 to 65 area, when the college was, when people were kind of exploring the idea of a college, they were looking at places like, makes sense that we start a college, right? Where do we put it? They're looking at Three Rivers, they're looking at Sturgis. Nora Hagen just came forward and she said, I'd love to donate my land and my house.
Oh, I didn't know that.
To start a college. So that's kind of,
wow.
Yeah, and they purchased some more land, so that the spot that we're living at, or that we're in right now, probably isn't part of Nora Hagen's original homestead. But if you look through those windows and past the trees, there's a white farmhouse out there that we call the Hagen House. And that Hagen House is the home of Nora Hagen. She lived there until her final days. I lived out there for a little while back when I was transitioning here. But it's a unique, 1880s style farmhouse.
Nice.
Really neat.
I've learned a lot today. I had no idea how much opportunity was. I knew it was a unique diamond in the rough, and you drive by it all the time, but I did not know, and I've only been inside the facility 2 or 3 times. I mean, I'm pretty impressed. All right. Well, thank you, Adam. I really appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Carl.
All right,
It's
take
been a
care.
pleasure.
Thanks.